Just saying.
Thank you. Monday, February 12th, 2024. I would just like to remind everyone that our meetings are every third Monday of the month at 6 p.m. Due to the holiday next week, we did it today. So our next meeting is Monday, March 18th. I believe it is. Yes. Monday, March 18th is the next meeting here at 6 p.m. It is 6:06 p.m. I'll call the meeting into order.
We'll take a roll call to see if we have a quorum. Good evening, everybody. Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Cousins is absent, Commissioner Wolf,
Here.
Commissioner Zafos.
Here.
Commissioner Decker,
Here.
Oh, that's.
Commissioner McPherson.
Here.
We have a quorum. First order of business is public comment. Do we have any comment from the public this evening?
At first, question is,
Can you speak up, please?
I said my first question is that, I had an issue with the people in the office. I did talk to you about the issue, and, I didn't come back to you again about the issue. Because this has been something that's been going on for a while, and, reason why I'm here today is that I need to speak to you personally again about the issue that's going on in the office. I have another issue, which is about my unit. Okay, which I understand they're not moving nobody around nowhere, which people are being moved around and people are being moved in the building. But what my understanding is why am I not saying this thing? Probably still getting funded.
So if you come to my office again, we've had this discussion already, but if you can have it again, you come to my office, we can discuss it. In my office, as I said to you before, you were initially moved out of a unit before I got here for the reason that you're aware of.
I was going back there.
However, I explained to you that was not going to occur.
So why am I going to one that?
Again, if you come to my office, we'll look at some different things, but that's not for the reasons that you're stating. The initial issue was to go back, and we were told you were going to be going back, and like I told you, that was not.
Well, I'm gonna get the story here. One from you that the truth, I don't know which one.
No,
Tell the truth, I don't know.
I'm the boss, so.
So she's saying I'm going to, unit, whenever y'all get y'all unit up, I'm going to.
So once again, like I always tell you, you just said you had another issue that you didn't bring to my attention. You're welcome to come to my office because we can better discuss what your situation is, but in particular, I can't really
Okay.
talk effectively about
Okay,
the
so I
top
have
of my
another
head.
question besides that. Okay, so as of April, I got this letter. So as of April the 1st, the rent is supposed to be going up.
That's correct.
Why is that?
The rents are being adjusted. They haven't been adjusted in 3 years, and typically we've actually announced it at maybe about 4 meetings ago, I think. And as I explained to the board at that time, if you're not on flat rent, it's not really going to affect you. That's really going to affect the flat rent people, which is about letting people in the building. But we are supposed to adjust the rent on a regular basis, but it hasn't been done in several years. So I'm trying to correct that. Any other? What's that?
I have a question.
Yes.
My question is, if we have to have a special service to get the asbestos out, how's it safe for us to live here?
That's a good question. It's a fair question. And if the asbestos is disturbed, if it's not disturbed, you're fine. But if it's disturbed, and there's issues in your particular apartment, then that's something that you should come to. I don't know.
Walls are getting weak, you know what I mean? I went to hang a curtain and it just caved in.
Okay, well, that's something that you can come see me about. We can talk about it.
For you to realize the asbestos have been disturbed, you can't rent that apartment, did I give you the chance to get in the air?
Say that one more time.
All right, you realize, all right, the apartment next to me cannot be rented because of asbestos. Well, now that it's been disturbed, is it getting in the air now?
I'm not the asbestos expert, but I just know you, as long as you don't go in that apartment, you should be fine. It's not like it's just,
Right, no, I'm
and it's
just
not,
asking.
no, I understand, but it's not like it's active and it's seeping under the doors or anything like that. That you can't go in that apartment that's next to you because that's been disturbed. Nobody goes in.
Okay, that's all, yeah.
And I think if there are holes in your wall, holes in your ceiling, things wrong with the tiles and the floor, it's really important to contact
Well,
maintenance and they'll assess whether that is something that could be a danger or not. And so it's really important if you do have anything that
It
is,
just happened, so I was gonna come down, tomorrow and let them know, I went to go hang a curtain in my son's room, you know, the extension rod,
Mhm.
and it went right in the wall.
Okay, so
You know,
definitely come down and see us and we'll investigate. Okay. Are there any more questions? Seeing there's none, we'll go to the first order of business, which is approval of the minutes from the January 17th, 2024. May I have a motion?
Make your motion.
Commissioner Deckman? Does everybody speak up, please?
I make the motion.
Okay, second?
I'll second it. Yeah.
Seconded by Commissioner Wolf. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Second order of business is the approval of the accounts payable for January 2024.
Can
can I ask a quick, do
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
you have a question?
Yeah,
Go for it.
so it says vendor and contractor for $975.10.
What sheet are you on, please?
Or you could say the numbers of the line.
2111.
And the balance sheet?
Pages aren't numbered actually, but it's on this one.
That's the account number,
Yeah,
2111, the vendors, this one here.
97510.
I don't know offhand. I'd have to look up and see what that vendor payment is for. But I'll have a response for you. You had a question, Commissioner Tompkins?
On the bill payment list,
Yes.
2 identical payments to county waste in 1 month. 121,734 cents. If it was a monthly thing, I would imagine it being the same fee. Monthly, but having exact thing twice in 1 month sticks out. See it?
Did you say county waste?
Yep, 7997 at the beginning on January 9th. And then again on 12924,
Remember you, go ahead. And what's the other one?
8004 towards the bottom.
Okay, I'll check and see, make sure that's not a duplicate. And I will get back to you. Okay,
And Flanders they're doing our accounting now, or our audits. The Flanders Group.
no, I'm uncertain who that is. I will get that answer for you. So, I don't know who to tell you.
Okay.
Our accountant is BDO.
EDO.
And our auditor is BDO.
Okay.
Okay,
May I ask a question?
yes.
I know we have the exterminators, I'm on for the extra. But do you ever bomb apartments here?
No, not if that's not their technique. And have not been happy with the previous services that we've had. So actually there is a resolution tonight asking for the board to support a recommendation for the exterminator.
Yeah, but no, I'm just saying my apartment's getting ridiculous now. That's the only reason why I asked.
Well, we've had some poor service.
Yeah, no, you know, I even went and got on the extra list to try to control it,
Yeah,
and it's like they're multiplying.
if everything goes well and we approve
Okay.
this, starting March 1st, then we should see some results very quickly.
All right, thank you.
Any more questions?
No.
I have a motion to approve the accounts payable.
I make the motion. I'll second it.
Commissioner Jefferson, seconded by Commissioner Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. The next order of business is the resident commissioner's report or statements. Do resident commissioners have anything to offer?
It has came to my attention about kids being in the back stairwell. Smoking in the stairwell. They were approached numerous of times to leave it from the stairwell. And they keep going. What can be done?
Well, we've actually talked about this a little
Yeah.
earlier, so if I need a time frame, if that's possible, because we do have a security officer who does.
And he's been
A lot of the entrances on six, cause I hear them slamming.
slamming the
that
door, cause it
All
goes,
the night.
What?
They go in on six and
On
leave
six.
something, leave the door open,
Okay.
my rug included. So they're
So
they're
we
cracking.
will, yeah. we
Yeah,
will
'cause
have-
I got a welcome rug to be outside my door,
Right.
but they'll use it and put it in the door so it don't lock. And I hear that they run and be loud all night long.
and they're from 6 to like 3.
Right, well, I've
Um,
already spoken to a security personnel about it, but I need some more information from you and others so that we can.
I mean,
run a
no disrespect.
Different approach.
No disrespect, but don't you get notified every time that the fire alarm goes off
Yeah.
due to?
I don't know that it's due to that.
The fire.
I don't
the
know.
alarm always goes off at the bottom door.
I have a scanner and it comes over
Happened twice,
twice.
kids smoking in.
In a
fire
stairwell.
department talked to 'em,
I mean-
they're supposed to be in there.
I've never gotten that information that's why the smoke alarm went off, but that's.
So I mean, even if that's the case, that it's be due to that though, and they keep coming for that, don't we get fined from the fire department?
I have not gotten any notification that we've been being fined.
No, I'm not saying that we are, but I'm
So,
saying,
if we weren't getting fined, there's no other way I would know, like, I don't know that that's something.
I mean, I should rephrase that. If they keep coming, and is that specifically because of that?
We're like the boy that cried wolf.
Yeah, like it's
All right, we're starting
coming,
to sound like the boy that cried wolf, cause they're gonna start taking their time. You know what I mean?
And it's
You're gonna
could be
like, damn,
something-
I'm high rise.
yeah, and it could be something very important, like somebody's apartment could have been on fire. And they're taking their sweet time coming here because of that. And that's why I'm asking. But yeah, that's
So
only,
like I said to you, when we spoke earlier.
Yeah.
I said I've already spoken to the security personnel. There are some things that occur when he's not on duty. But that's why I need specific timeframes, so that I can try to, we can try to take a different approach to addressing that issue. Okay,
that's the only thing that I had.
Ms. Smith, Commissioner McPherson, do you have anything this evening?
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff. You know. Since I've been in here, we have a lot of problems in this building. We have a lot of problems going on in this building here. We have bed bugs going on. We got roaches in here. And the walls and the stuff is getting weak, like she says. It's getting weak. We need to get something done in here. In these buildings, need to get fixed up. The way it's supposed to get fixed up. While we paying rent here, we should get deserve of the treatment that we need to deserve of this building here. To get fixed up. Go into your apartment, something's wrong with your apartment, you got to wait for like a week or whatever, so they come in your apartment and fix stuff up. That's not right. That is not right. We got a problem, they should come up there the next day to fix it. But I gotta wait for a couple of days. We got kids to think
It's like
about.
people think this building's
Thank you.
hopeless. You
Thank
understand what
you.
I mean? Everybody's got this new
Yes,
building
thank
come
you.
in and rah, rah,
Mhm.
rah. Well, we should be rah, rah in this room because we
That's
still
right.
live here. When
Yeah.
that get there, then we'll be rah, rah. But
Yes.
until then, this is our home.
Right,
And it's like we can't do nothing, but everyone that can gave up.
right.
Y'all got this blueprint
Mhm,
and y'all don't want to live here.
mhm.
And everybody's getting a name and a position. but
Yep.
we're here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You tell us one thing, we're having a meeting about a new building, we should be having a meeting about this one, cause we ain't doing, that one ain't happening, so we still live here.
Right.
What money do we got to go into this building?
Mhm.
Where we gonna put that money? What can we do to improve our livelihood until something happens? Do you understand what I mean? It's like everybody done moved on, but we're still right here. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Have you,
Just come live with me. And
have
then
you,
everybody will be talking about, okay, let's finish this. All right? Everybody's welcome to spend the week. Come on down. That's all I'm saying. Focus on, what do we got going for us right now? Nothing. We got plans for the new one, but what do you got for us right now? Because we live here. We live and deal with this every day, holes in walls, you know, we complain about the children, everything get passed on, because it ain't gonna happen in the new building.
Nope.
But we're here right now.
That's a valid point, thank you.
So
But
how-
I don't, if I may, there, I don't, that's not my perspective.
Well, that's how we feel.
I understand, I understand, but that's not my perspective, and it's not, oh, I'm not worried about what's happening here, because that's gonna take a long time to build, and so, some of the commissioners who are in meetings with me when I'm talking with, you know, behind the scenes type, situations, realize and know, and they are as well advocating for us to be able to do things differently, acquire more money. One of the things that some of the residents can help, that would help us, because there are a number of residents who are not paying their rent. Not for legitimate reasons, they're just not paying their rent. And so that affects our bottom line, that affects our ability to do things. On the other hand, because there are several different stakeholders, I have to deal with HUD, and I've been asking them and talking to them and trying to strategize for ways to gain more funds so we can, in fact, do things here and now, because as you said, you still live here and you have to live here. And so you're not being ignored. I apologize that this may not be happening fast enough, but I assure you, we're trying to find creative ways and creative solutions to address, you know, the issues that are outstanding in this building. But that's why I also tell you, by the way, to come talk to me. Now, listen, I understand that, you know, I'm not the oracle, like I can't fix everything. And I understand talking to me may not make you feel, you may not even like the answer I give sometimes, but sometimes it really is what it is. But I'm not gonna lie to you about that. What I will tell you is what I can do and how I can work it out. And if I can't, then I'll say that as well.
No, I understand what you, I've never had a problem talking with you. I won't lie. You've always been, you know, I think you told me no, hurt my feelings, but I grew up. Yeah, but you know, it's just the idea. We do this meeting, and do we ever schedule community meetings?
Well, we have, and they're not as well attended, and we'll always try to continue them, but right now, what I've been, and the reason that's important, by the way, because for example, I had a meeting where, for people who weren't following our bed bug preparation guidelines, which is extremely important. So I'm gonna take this opportunity to do this now. Some of you that come are the same people that always come. And it's unfortunate because the other people that don't come are the people that need to hear it, because when it's time to prepare, there are certain things that you have to do. As you know, we have a checklist. You have to wash your clothes, you have to dry them on high heat. But the other thing that's hurting us is that there are residents and friends who travel from one apartment to the other. If you have bed bugs or you think you have bed bugs, you shouldn't even come down to the community room, you know, because we're gonna spread it throughout. Like, get yourself on the list, get treated, follow the preparation guidelines, and then once you're relieved of that, then you can move about. But there's some people who visit this one, they go from that one, they go to the.
How many can afford to?
I beg your pardon?
How many can afford to? Yeah, I mean,
How
I
can- I don't
I have a
understand.
lot of clothes. All right?
Well,
If you go in there and ask me to dry them all,
But we allow you to do it for free.
oh, okay, I didn't know
Oh,
that.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know
yeah.
that's good to
No,
hear.
we allow, when a person has an issue like that, we actually close down a small, laundry room and allow you to do your laundry for free.
Is
so
there
that you can-
any way you can offer people assistance?
So that's one of those behind the scenes conversations that I'm talking about. No, these are great questions. I actually appreciate you
Some people
bringing
don't
them
know
out.
how to start,
No,
you
but
know what I mean?
No, I appreciate it, but these are those behind the scenes questions that I've asked about, that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I talked with, I had a gentleman in my office the other day from, coming to see about another resident, a Section 8 resident who is from the, offers services and mental health things. And we were talking about this particular resident, how he tries to help prepare. And he was doing it out of volunteer because we don't have anybody that has cleaning services, which
yeah,
is a large part of some of our residents' problems. And I've even talked to some who've admitted, yeah, I know I have this issue, I'm depressed or whatever. And I can imagine if the apartment was cleaned up, it might give them a new perspective. But I've tried to get some assistance that way, to see if any of the surrounding organizations have volunteers that would do that. There've even been some people in the building who have helped other people. But that also can become a sticky situation because sometimes they're not doing what they're supposed to do and the person is paying them for it and then they
Yeah,
just kind of
no.
need to take their money.
sometimes I know when I went through my depression, my whole house was trashed. And once I got out of it,
Yes,
I literally did not know how to start. You know what I mean? I was stuck.
Right.
I didn't know what room, what to do first. So I didn't do nothing
right, understood.
until my family came in and helped me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just, just the reality.
No, that's good, and thank God you had your family.
You
but
know,
there's
I
some
had a
people we
family member that said, come on, Wanda, we're gonna start here. Everybody took a room.
Right,
If you see it, throw it out, they didn't ask me, they were just throwing out, you know what I mean? But that was my get up. Some people don't have that. So that's what I'm just saying, like services.
well, it's something I've been looking into, and I
Okay.
asked around at the board if you're aware of anybody or services that have, first of all, I think it's a gold mine business if somebody's able to do it and come clean. I don't wanna enable people, but some people really just need the assistance for
To get started
for
again.
different reasons. And, but if we could do that, because housekeeping is a huge part of
The problem.
the problem. In terms of bugs, in terms of cleanliness, in terms of taking care of your part.
But health wise,
That was my next sentence, but
Yeah.
most of all, it affects your mental health. And
yes,
you're supposed to be coming to a place where you can have peace. So you can think about the problems on the outside.
yeah,
So, it is something that, I'm always looking for. If you ever see something that I might be able to work into our system, please, tell me. I'm
No,
more
okay.
I'm more than willing to try to get that, as a part of our program. All right?
And I apologize, when are the developers coming in? Because somebody did ask.
So, it's interesting that you said that because, so John Madeo is on the line right now. That was gonna be the next, order of business. I'm deferring the executive director's report for that, but I'm smiling because I almost don't want to even go to that conversation. 'Cause after Ms. Wanda, we don't want to talk about that. But it's important that we update.
Are you okay with it?
Perfect example.
Because they said that they was coming every few months.
But it's important that we update you on what's going on.
Okay.
So, Mr. Matteo wasn't able to be here in person, but he is here via Zoom, and I'm gonna, if you can unmute John, we're gonna hand the floor over to you at this time. You guys can't see him, but you will be able to hear him. I'm trying to unmute. Let's see if I can. Hold on a second.
Unmute. How about now?
You got it.
Got it? Okay, thank you. Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner, I'm going to give a short report, but do you want to ask your question first? Or do you want me to give a report as to where we are and what's going on?
Some people keep asking me about, because originally you guys said that it was like every couple of months, you guys were gonna come and speak with residents.
Yeah.
It's been, I wanna say about 3 or 4 months already, since we've seen any, well, us, the residents, has seen anybody.
Yeah.
I
No,
just wanna know.
you're
where-
right. Okay, let me answer that first, because that's a good question. We do want to have continued, I think we had at least one, if not two, resident meetings. And we did promise that we would come back. We wanted to wait until we got a little bit further and had some more information. I think we're there now and can probably schedule something within the next 2 weeks. We can work with the executive director and just pick a time and a date. And I presume we do something around the same time, like 6 o'clock. But let me know if we can have a more convenient time for the residents. Some people are working, some people have other obligations, but 6 o'clock seems to be okay, but we'll take some direction from you guys on that. So we'll try to set something up within the next 2 weeks. And what we do have to say, and this goes into, actually leads right into the report that I was going to give you. And we've been working with the executive director and the chairperson over the course of the last 6 weeks, particularly. Let me just go back. Remember, we went through a whole series of discussions about the layouts of the buildings and where they were going to be. And I think where we wound up with the board's direction is that we wanted to try to add some additional units on the site. So the plan that we're talking about, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, is a two-phase plan where we'd start on the site where the basketball court is. And let's call that, for some reason, we call that site B, even though we're going to start there. And we would build a building there, and then use that as the primary relocation resource, and then move people from Bliss Towers and Columbia, move them there. So the plan, we put together that plan, and if you recall, the building is a two-level building. One portion of the building is 7 stories, one portion is 5. And we agreed that I think we agreed we didn't want to go more than 7 stories. And there'd be about 138 units in that building. And then in addition to that, at the same time, the Housing Authority has a contract with the city, a number of city-owned properties. We've looked at those properties and have identified 3 properties where we think we can get 10 townhouse units on those 3 sites. So the initial application to the state for funding would be 138 units, basically on the basketball court site, which includes the smoking pavilion and that whole area across the street from Bliss Towers. And then an additional 10, we might be able to get 12 units, but I think at least 10 townhouse units on 3 scattered sites that we'd have to acquire from the city. And recently the Housing Authority extended their contract with the city. So we have those, we have an option on those properties to purchase them. We may be able to do more on some other city-owned sites, but those 3 looks to us to be the best to develop. So I believe that the board is aware that the primary funding for this is going to come from the State of New York Housing Finance Agency and Homes and Community Renewal. Okay, not HUD. HUD really doesn't have any significant programs to either rehab Bliss Towers, which we don't want to do, or build a new building. So we're seeking funds from the state, and the state is the primary funder of affordable housing now. We've, over the course of the last couple of weeks, had preliminary discussions. When I say we, include the executive director and the chairperson. Representative from the state came to the site, and this is the person who handles the funding applications. We explained what it is we wanted to do, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but was very supportive of the Housing Authority generally, and mentioned that from the state's perspective, the Housing Authority has made great strides in terms of its administrative procedures and and ability to sort of put this plan together. And they're very interested in funding it. Housing authorities are a priority for the state funding agencies to help housing authorities. So they've told us now that we can submit what's called a technical assistance submission, which is basically a preliminary application. We've got that application just about completed, and that addresses the plan, the first phase of the plan, which is the 138 units in the new building, a single building, and then the 10 townhouse units. We probably will submit that package to the state within the next week. Then the state will set up a meeting. They'll review the application. They have the general idea of the concept now, but they need a lot of the backup information. So we've already done site studies and done environmental studies and what's called site suitability studies. So we submit all of that in a package to the state. They review it, and then they'll give us some direction. They'll talk to us about the financing, see if the financing numbers make sense to them, and they'll talk to us about timing. And I know this goes back to the earlier part of the discussion. How long is this going to take? You understand that the housing authority is going to be competing with developers all over the state to get these funds. So we want to get a full application into the state as soon as possible. We've told the state that we think that we can finish all the design work and the architectural plans and all that for the new building, so that we would be able, from our end, to close, meaning that we would get financing funding. We're targeting the first quarter of 2025. I think that that's a realistic target from where we are now. We need to get planning and zoning approval from the city. One of the things we talked about is closing off the street. We need some approvals from the city for that. The city has been very cooperative, and they understand what our timing is. So we made significant progress. The next thing is, as I say, is to get this TAS submission into the state next week, and then they'll set up a time that we can talk, and they'll review it, and they'll tell us they like the number of units and the layout and the distribution, and they'll talk to us about financing. There is we're going to need some subsidy from the state. We're going to, we might try to go after some county money. We're going to look for every funding source. There's a new housing program that the state is coming out with next week that would be supplemental funding. So that's where we are now. We think if the state didn't like the plan generally, when we met with the state representative a few weeks ago, we would sort of be in a rut. We'd have to go back to the planning board, come back to you guys, and sort of change and tell them we need to do something else. But generally, we got a good thumbs up from the state, and that's why we can move forward with the technical assistance submission. So we're going to get that in next week. Probably by the time the board meets again in March, we hopefully will have had that meeting with the state where they'll get the chance to review the plans and have their comments, and we'll be able to report back to you what the status of that is. The next step is, if they say, yes, go ahead, then we'll get a full application in. So the next two things you're going to see from our end is we're going to have that resident meeting that we talked about within the next couple of weeks. And then we'll get the technical assistance submission package into the state next week. And then hopefully we'll be back to the board in March to be able to tell them what type of response we're getting from the state. So I'm going to stop now. You may have some questions because I went over a lot of things, but the main thing is we've made a lot of progress, and the fact that the state came out and looked at the site and walked through the building, and they've got and are supporting it. That's very significant.
Right. Just please speak loudly. I'll just point you up because he can't see you, so we're not.
All right, so if I'm not mistaken, this right here is not even a guarantee yet.
You're absolutely correct. There is no guarantee. This is a competitive process where the housing authority is going to be submitting an application. It's going to be weighed and evaluated in relation to all other applications they get across the state. The good news is that funding housing authorities is a top priority from the state. So that if it was another, if a developer just came in and said they wanted to develop something and they want state money, they wouldn't get as much priority as a housing authority project would have, number one. The second thing is that this representative from the state has been aware of the housing authority issues here, has worked with the chairman and the mayor, and is very supportive of the project. So again, I feel very positive about this from the housing authority's point of view. And I can tell you this, our company, the Malco, has done 19 of these developments. And when we submitted an application, we've never had one that wasn't funded. Okay, that doesn't mean that this is positive. It's not a guarantee, but we're in as strong a position as we can be between the housing authority, the support from the city, and Malco's experience. So again, you're right. It's not a guarantee, but we're in as good a position as we could possibly be.
And before you say something, I just want to add, this is our best option.
No, I understand
This is
that,
our best
but when you
option.
spoke to us, all I heard was planning.
Well, that's
I thought
part of
that-
it. That's what we have to do.
No, the first part is getting the approval.
No,
Oh,
you
no,
can't
not
get the
exactly. Yeah,
approval
you-
until you can prove what, we had to take steps to get them.
You know, I
Yeah.
understand that, but we weren't told that.
I know, so I get where you're coming from,
We
and that
weren't
makes.
told this, though, you know what I mean? We come in this meeting, we see the blueprints, we see this, we got the layout. All right, but I'm thinking it's a go. All we gotta do is just, we got the blueprints, go dig up the basketball court. But now you're telling me that it's another step and it's not a guarantee.
So
Okay,
can I
well-
interfere and say, tell me if I'm wrong of how you're feeling? I think it's because, and please don't take it personal. Please don't take it personal. Because we were told from Jeff first, the whole process in the beginning got shut down. Tim comes, did the same thing,
I see.
got shut down. Now here we are again. So when I say, please don't take it personal, because you telling me we're gonna get a new bill, I'm like, okay. Some people like, oh yeah, we'll see it, we'll believe it when we see it.
Well, this is, so a couple of things. I'm very careful with what I say, and as I'm very careful not to say things. There's certain things I don't want to talk about because I'm concerned about people's perception and what can happen because plans can change. And if we go back in the notes and we check, and you may not remember that, but I'll do my best to make it even more clear. One of the things we always say is we're working on new development. And so there are a bunch of steps in that process. And as Commissioner Smith just said, you have to present a plan first, a concept, to see if people will buy into it. And then once they buy into it and we get state approval, and I'm just shortening for you, then we can move to the next step. But then we have to have funders. And if we have money if we're not fully financed, we have to fill in what we call a gap. Well,
Yeah, we were told that.
You were, but probably.
Not
In a
in so
different-
clear a form. as
That's what
you're
I'm saying
doing
to you,
right now.
but however, interestingly enough, your question is amazing, but this is the time for it. And this is why we need people to come to the meeting and ask these questions so they can become more educated. So I'm not offended in
No,
fact.
I'm gonna say what's on my mind.
No,
I
I don't
don't
have a
wanna offend
problem.
nobody.
No, I don't have a
just
problem with
I
that.
want answers. Right?
No, and it is a very important question.
Yeah.
It's a very important question because now it gives me the feeling as well as the board, a whole different feeling as a pulse of where the people are. And like Commissioner Decker just explained, this is not the first time.
Mhm.
So that change, it doesn't change the perspective, but it adds to.
Adds to understanding where
the
we're coming
understanding where
from.
you're coming from,
Yeah,
sure,
with us,
yes.
we've heard it too many times. So,
Right.
you know, people will be like, everyone, oh yeah, I'll see it when they build it.
You're right.
So you know what I mean? And I think that's another reason people don't want to come to the meetings, because they've been lied to.
So many times.
Well,
I mean, because the wording, I'm not saying intentionally, but I thought I had my apartment already, all I had to do was build it.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
learning
for all intents and purposes, that's what we hope to
Yeah,
happen,
hopes,
right? That's what we hope that, but these are all steps, and by law, you may remember this. By law, we have to tell you what we're doing. HUD mandates that. You may remember me saying that. We have to tell you and give you the points and the steps along the way so that you are informed. That's why we take attendance to make sure. We have to demonstrate to HUD that we've had these meetings, we've talked to our residents, we've educated them on what's happening. And then when we get further, right, when we get further, then we're gonna be educating you on a whole different process. What do you need to move? When do you need to pack? What do you need to be prepared for and things of that nature?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but no, it's, you know what I mean, now my perspective has changed.
Well,
I wanna work on this building.
listen, and we're not stopping that. We're not a one trick pony, right? But there also, let me just be frank with you too. We want, and I believe the board has the same sentiment. We want to do as much as we can here to sustain the building for the residents without wasting money, knowing what we're trying to do that will be better for the residents. So my decision-making is very strategic. You know, I have priorities in terms of, I know all the stuff that's going on.
Impact my standard of living?
Yes, in a positive way, for the most part. Well, because this is what I was gonna say, I'm prioritizing the things that are important.
Alright.
You understand what I'm saying? The things that are of absolute essential needs.
Okay.
And we'll do whatever we can. And if there are emergencies that arise, like Commissioner Zakos just said, you have to bring it to our attention. We will fully and thoroughly investigate it. We'll develop an action plan to move to address that issue and go to the next step. But we're not leaving you on a limb that's not the point. That with no residents, there's no point of building a building. We need the residents, we need your participation, we need your comments and things of this nature. We, you know, good or bad, we need to know what the feedback is so we can make the best plan possible.
Jeff, could I just add one thing?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. So, and believe me, we do understand the fact that you've been through this a couple of cycles and things didn't go the way that you would have liked. And Malco has worked with a number of other housing authorities. It's not unusual for the residents to say, you know, we'll believe it when we see it. So I'm not surprised about that. And that's a legitimate skepticism, and you should keep that until we deliver. Okay. But we are working, we have made more progress than you're actually seeing. You probably have seen people out on the site and measuring and doing things, but we've made a lot of progress. And the thing that I will say, and I'll take responsibility for this, if I wasn't clearer or clear enough in the presentations to either the board or the residents that this is all, you know, this is a great plan, but it's only a plan, you know, and it's going to stay a plan until we get the money. Okay. And the money is going to come from the state. And again, I think we've got a good chance of getting it. But if I wasn't clear enough in conveying that to the residents, I do apologize for that, and to the board as well. But that's the reality. Okay. The money is not set aside for this project yet, but we're a lot closer to it than we've been in the past. So I'm very positive that we're going to move forward, but you're right. Until we get the next step and then get the application approved and then get, you know, different funders, a lender and an investor, which we have lined up. There's a lot that goes into this. We could have the best plan on a piece of paper, but until we get the approvals, you know, nothing is set. But we're moving in that direction that I'm confident in.
Right.
I do
And I
have
wanna-
actually, sorry, two questions. One is, where is the, if you can say, where is the other three sites that are for the townhouses?
I don't know I can literally point to the direction. I don't know the name of the streets. One of them is right across.
Community
The
garden
The
the
gar- oh,
community
you guys
garden.
can help me, thank you.
Down here?
down
The
here
Community garden over here,
Yeah.
down there.
on
And then
State,
one on Warren Street.
on Warren in front.
We,
Yeah.
we have a site plan that we can get you and it'll show you exactly where
It'll
they
show it
are.
to you. And I want to also add this too. You guys may not realize, there's a lot that goes on behind the scene, but your board has done tons of work before I even got here to even get us to this point. And you have and when I say work, it's not just paperwork, but they've made political and relational connections to gain favor. And we hope that that's gonna bear fruit. So you may not know, you may not see, we go to congressmen swearing in, we talk to people, we get people to commit to us, and they say, we're gonna do this, and so when it's time for them to ante up, we're gonna say, hey, remember us? But your board has been working in that, as well as myself in that, but they were working on this before I even got here.
Are other people bidding for the same grant?
Yes.
It's not a.
The same
grant, but yeah,
funding.
Well, funding.
Yes.
Yes,
But one of the things that Monco was saying to you is that they believe they have some leverage. Because they've done this before, and they believe they have some leverage. And by that same token, the housing authority, believes that it has some leverage because there's been some, I can't remember what you call it, it's a term for it, goodwill that's been created. Your commissioners have been on other boards for housing, and have communicated, they've communicated Hudson's plight. And to that end, what I can say, even coming here, most of the people that I met with have pledged the fact that they were on board with doing something different here in Hudson. And that's outside, that's in and out of this room.
Okay.
So that's, again, we can't give you any surety. Like I said, I always want to be careful with the way we present things, but I believe what we're saying is we have a good feeling about our direction. Okay? Anything else, John?
No, that's it. And then, Jeff, we'll circle back to you and we'll pick a date for the residents meeting.
Yes.
And we'll get the technical assistance submission package finished within the week. And we'll get that into the state and move that along and get a response to them. So we'll have a more detailed report at the March meeting.
Right, so we'll discuss that in our Wednesday meeting. I've already noted it.
Yep. Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you, but we'll see you in March for sure.
great, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Give me some. So we'll move to new business, which is a resolution for extermination, which I'll read at this time. Whereas the Hudson Housing Authority issued an RFP for extermination services on December 8, 2023. Whereas 3 firms responded and the executive director made the recommendation to accept the proposal from Pestmaster Services. Whereas the Hudson Housing Authority Board of Commissioners desires to enter an engagement letter with Pestmaster Services, and whereas the engagement will provide an allocation not to exceed $30,000 per year for 2 years for exterminating services. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners hereby authorize the Executive Director to execute an agreement and enter the engagement with Pestmaster Services for the extermination services in a form that is acceptable with the Executive Director and Council on February 12, 2024, effective March 1st, 2024.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why are we swapping from one to the other?
I beg your pardon?
Why are we going from one to the other?
No results,
Yeah, we were getting poor results.
no results.
Not people not showing up. I don't want to like slander other company, but they were not producing good results, not good reporting, not exterminating effectively. And that unfortunately tends to happen sometimes when you have contracts with people, their services they get laden in it, and we needed to do something there.
I have a question too.
Yes.
I was saying to Ravonda, I'm sure you have extensive experience with extermination stuff.
Yeah.
I recently had an experience where I had a cockroach situation in my house and was trying lots of things. And so my mom is a former building manager, and she procured for me a bag of these. They're like, it's from a company called, I think it was like Max Force, something like that. And they look just like the kind of thing you buy in the grocery store, like the little discs that you set
I
out
think I've heard of them.
under the sink or whatever. But within like 2 weeks, it was all gone.
Good.
And I'm just like, I'm looking at $30,000 and I'm like, whoa, because I imagine that, I'm just basically asking,
But
like,
you have to realize, I keep my house clean, don't mean my neighbors do.
no, totally.
Do you understand? I can use the discs all day long,
Well, but I'm just wondering if everybody used the
But that's
disc.
but that's not gonna happen.
That's
The bigger scale.
Even, to your point, one of our problems is, we inform residents that we're coming, we come the same
Yeah.
time every week. And there are residents who will come up with an excuse week after week of saying they don't want to be treated, they don't need to be treated, which is not the case.
But
We
so,
have to exterminate the whole place so that we can have it.
so when the
we've done it.
exterminators come, so do they have access to all the apartments then?
We do,
necessarily?
but there are residents who,
Then they don't.
So for example, like,
they'll lock the door.
they'll do like 9, 8, and 7 1 week. 6, 5, and 4 another, 3, 2, and a low rise on another. But if they're like, I'm on 4,
After that, we do actually.
the people over top of me might not have them come in their apartment, so then they're either going up or down or next door. So then it's all of us that are around that person is getting affected because they're not letting them in their.
I guess what I was also wondering is, do you think people might be more receptive to so if nobody has to kind of come in, it's literally just like, here, take
No,
these. and
because
put
we
them
don't
under
know
your
that they're
sink.
gonna be putting them down. Some
And
people don't
also,
feel comfortable with it. And I think, these folks have professional services and there's some guarantees in some respects.
Mhm.
And
And what
also, pets and kids.
Right.
That's nothing, if we do we get a list of what they're using?
Yes.
Cause we got
Yes.
kids and.
No, totally,
Well,
yeah.
that's
That's why
part
these
of.
things are so great, because they're actually like self-contained and.
Right, but
you
that's
know.
part of our request. We make sure that the stuff is environmentally safe. And with this company, so far, my conversations with them, they are very willing to educate the residents, but here's it again, here it is again. We have meetings and we'll have meetings. Hey, this is the new exterminator, come down and meet them. So you'll know who's coming into your place, but also learn about what they're dealing with, because they're experts in this area. They gave me an education about some things and how to address it. But if everybody's not on board with that and not playing in the sandbox together, then we can't be effective. And that's part of the fight.
All right, I'm homesick, I can't make the meeting. Why isn't there spread out the meetings on the table?
Well, the board meetings are online.
Zoom, using Zoom.
You can always look up the recording.
A lot of people can't.
True, if they don't have
A
internet.
lot of people can't, some people can't afford internet, especially when it comes to cable, okay? It's just the idea, making it accessible. You're
I
saying.
mean, I
it's
can make it,
all-
I can make it accessible, and we can put this stuff out, and it's also on the website, but, sometimes people don't read the minutes either. And some of the details that are discussed don't necessarily go in the meeting, like we're having this discussion now.
So
when I read-
put in what they need to know.
Well, this is what I'm saying, we're having this discussion now, right? What that will come down to in the minutes, because it's pertinent, but it's not pertinent to a degree, is gonna come down, there was a discussion before the resolution, and then there was a vote taken, because that's how we have to do it technically. So, I mean, I can help people. I mean, maybe we can do something where we re-show.
The minute for you guys, what about the minute for us?
No, they're on the website. They're on the website.
Well, okay, so here, I'm gonna help you.
But maybe we can do something where we show the meeting to people who are interested on the monitors.
I was about to say, why can't we get the
Internet,
password?
Wi-Fi,
No, I.
He's saying here in
Maybe
the,
we can
here.
do it here in the room and maybe we can re-show the
But,
minutes.
okay, but at the
Cause the
same,
meetings aren't very long.
No, I understand that, yeah.
If folks come listen to that, but.
Just give them an option. They don't have to come,
Right.
but you know, you can, and this is what we're giving you.
and that,
Well, if we can start, would you continue to come to the meetings and giving us these great ideas? That'll be amazing, honestly.
But like-
And we will, I'll do my best to implement, as much as we can, without wasting resources, of course.
Talking now.
No, but don't take it that way.
No, I won't interrupt you.
But you have good ideas. I appreciate
but
it.
at the same time, like, you're saying like, if, not to put anybody on blast, if people have bed bugs, you don't want them down here. They wanna attend meetings,
Well, that's a
but-
whole different story.
but hold on. But then it's like you're saying that you're gonna show them on the computer for the, or the TV for the
That's a
minutes.
whole different story. That's a whole different story. They cannot.
I get that, but so it's not fair to them if they have no internet where they can watch it on Zoom or something like
So
that.
those are special cases and we'll have to do something different. But
Why can't we
for
be
the
like
person-
Providence Hall and get the internet to the residents?
no, it's not just that. What I'm saying to you is, even doing that, right, we gotta get into people's apartments to make certain things happen. But if people have issues like bed bugs or whatever that can affect other people, I'm not gonna send somebody in their apartment.
No, because Providence Hall, you can sit right out here. I can sit right outside and pick up on Providence Hall's internet without having a password. So what I'm saying, if they call you direct or the office directly and say, listen, I can't come down to the meeting or because of whatever circumstances, can I at least get the password for the internet for us to be able to do it on Zoom?
I'm not gonna say yes to that, but what I will say is this, I just signed an agreement with Unity now. And they're actually connected, and one of those things is being able to offer internet to the residents at a low or reduced rate. So let's see where that goes. They know that that's important, not just from me, they know from the board. Let's see where that goes. I do understand it's important. And by the way, hopefully, with new development, that stuff's gonna be there. It is it will already be in the building. We're gonna.
Free to the
Yes,
residents?
yes.
Because a lot of people can't afford internet.
Oh, yes, yes, there are grants and stuff for people, because the internet right now is literally like, is like having bread and eggs and milk. It's essential to people's, function for their living. So, that is something that the government is pushing. Thank God on both sides of the aisle, like that people understand that that's how we are informed about things, so. But meanwhile, Wanda, as I said, just to make it clear, Unity Now is an internet provider that is working on getting services up, and we've signed an agreement with them so that they can use our building to put their equipment on our building. And hopefully with that, they will be able to offer internet services to us.
And that's, we say internet provider, this is not some huge corporation,
No,
this
it's
is a
small,
local entrepreneur
Thank you.
who grew up right across the street from here and is now this amazing entrepreneur doing this, and I'm really excited that we did that last month.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear like what that rate is, but it's gonna be savings from what you would typically pay, from what I understand, from one of the big providers, and it's a local,
And I thank you for that, Commissioner Zappo, because I don't know him as well and I can't speak but I do believe from what I've heard and understood that he has good intentions, and wants to help. Listen, when I first got to Hudson, I tried to get his services, but he wasn't up and running yet. So we're trying to help him get up and running. Okay? So any other questions? Is there a motion?
before, one quick question.
Yes.
And part of it's just my memory. Do we have a policy specifically on, the security cameras in the building? I remember we talked about it with the attorneys, it may have been before you got here, about developing other housing authorities have a security camera specific policy so that when leases are signed, everybody fully understands what the policy is.
A policy to what end?
To describe specifically what the cameras are used for, who has access to it.
I don't know, no, not that I'm aware of,
Okay.
yeah. Not that I'm aware. You know, other than if there's an incident, this was done when we were in here, if there's an incident, that sheet has to be filled out, it comes to me, I sign it to approve for security to view the cameras to figure out what's going on and report back to me, and then I make a decision on next steps.
So that still is being used?
Yes,
Great.
yes. But there's no other policy, you know, in terms of, hey, this is what we look for, well, because it's not necessarily like that.
Right.
It's more, yeah, things. Okay.
I'll make a motion. Are you?
Yeah, I was about to say, I'll make a motion to approve for this Terminator.
Oh, where's the one that's Terminator? I thought it was the motion to, I'm sorry, I forgot we were there. I interrupted, my fault.
It's all right then.
I thought we were motion to adjourn.
Get your thought out, so.
Get it, no, let's do this.
So
My
I
fault.
make the motion to approve this Terminator.
And I'll make the motion to adjourn then.
And then I'll
Wait,
second it.
1 second, let's take the vote, Commissioner.
Oh,
Smith
geez,
has to
I
leave.
keep-
President has
Oh
Commissioner
my
Wolf.
gosh.
Yeah, I,
Wait, what did we? Yeah, we're good.
Extermination.
Yep,
yes.
Commissioner Zarco,
aye.
Commissioner Decker, Commissioner McPherson. There's no nays and no abstentions. The ayes have it. Thank you for that. So,
Motion to adjourn. I
Not
apologize.
seconded.
Out of line.
meeting. At 7.